Good morning, everyone. This is Hope, Mama Eagle of Super Fun Infinite Blessings. How are you on this mystical, magical, marvelous, miraculous Monday, heading towards this amazing Aquarius new moon? All the readings that I do are timeless, so whenever you're clicking on this, there's a message for you, but it does happen to be Monday today. And it's funny because I'm hearing that song from the 80s, Manic Monday. So some of you may be feeling a little bit manic. Where I'm at right now in the United States on the West Coast, it is a little bit overcast, but the sun is peeking through, kind of like mystical rays coming through. And it's interesting, usually this spread. So, those of you that are new to my channel, I work directly with my ancestors, your ancestors. I say a prayer before I even get on the feed, before I pull cards, etc. And they're in the driver's seat. So usually when I pull three cards, it represents past, present, and future. We're working with the medicine cards today, which are one of my favorite decks. I've been working with these cards for about 20 years. Um, People love to hear the story of how my friend, Fern Eastman Matthias, she's no longer in physical, but she's still here with us. Um, you know, some people have, especially, from a indigenous tradition, um, don't always trust, tarot cards and uh, worry about cultural appropriation and all that jazz. And I just happened to be working with these cards and connecting with Fern Matthias back in the day because she was one of the founding elders of American Indian movement. She was actually getting ready to confront the person that made these cards. And I told her, I said, I understand where you're coming from a tribal cultural perspective. I said, but the person that did these cards, is an amazing person. She went out of her way to try and honor as many different nations as she could, with respect to different traditions, etc. And I said, on top of that, I said, these cards help me to save your best friend's life. And so after that, she had a very different perspective, So we all have a tendency at one point or another to fear things that we don't understand. Fear is false evidence appearing real, These cards that I not only work with for readings, when I first got these cards, I had lost my home in a flood, and I was down in New Mexico managing a homeless shelter, and someone just dropped off a basket with these beautiful cards in it that had animals on them and numbers, and no book, no nothing. I didn't even know what they were. And I learned how to work with them intuitively. And as a matter of fact, it was about uh, maybe somewhere between 5, maybe even 10 years before I even knew that there was a book that went with them. And so I teach people how to work with these cards, read these cards. The first thing that I do is I help them to connect with their ancestors, their intuition, and not only intuit what the cards mean to them, first and foremost, I also work with these cards in my Reiki practice. So, one of the things my students learn is how to work with these cards to transfer or extend the medicine when they're doing healing work with themselves or healing work with others. So, if you don't have this deck, I encourage you to go out and get it. It's one of the most versatile decks there are. I'm grateful that I really haven't seen a lot of highlighting of this deck yet on YouTube, so I'm grateful to be bringing this deck to light, just because, like I said, I've been working with it for so long and it's so amazing. So the ancestors told me that pulling the three cards today isn't necessarily past, present, and future. They're actually wanting it to represent more of body, mind, and spirit. They're saying that a lot of people today feel as if things are slowing down a bit. That's where that manic Monday energy comes in. And the thing with things slowing down is that our ancestors, angels, however you want to say that, they give us what we can handle. And so when we feel that things are slowing down, a lot of times it's the plane that is slowing down just before it takes off the runway. Um, and that's really what I'm feeling. I'm also hearing calm before the storm, but not as in a violent, disruptive storm, as in a cleansing, healing rain that promises and delivers the rainbow hereafter. Now, the interesting thing, having worked with these cards for so long, is that they talk. You get to a point where the medicine, the animal spirits, they literally talk. And a lot of times, I did a live last night on my Instagram feed. Hope Super Funny. If you guys want to do that on Sundays at 6 Pacific time, I do. It's called a virtual prayer bowl. So, we come on and we share our prayers, our intentions for ourselves, for others, for our community, for our nation. And then we offer up those prayers with a candle in a virtual way. And two different people, I also pull cards on that feed. Two different people got the yes card. This is the third time that yes is coming up within 24 hours. So I tell my students that if you see a word repeated within 24 hours 3 times, it's a direct message from the ancestors to pay attention to that. And what they were talking about last night was, sometimes we get in this space, especially having come from 2020 with all that hojy pojy nonsense that we were dealing with, toilet paper apocalypse and all that. So you get into a space where sometimes other people's doubt, this is what I'm hearing, starts to rub off. It's kind of like poison oak or something, and you're sitting there itching. You're like, okay, I'm trying to stay in faith, I'm paying it forward, I'm praying it forward, and yet I'm still feeling this little itch of doubt that doesn't even feel like mine. Sometimes that's in the collective. And believe it or not, if you carry a medicine bag, or sometimes I tell people, a little heart-shaped locket, or keychain, something like that goes a long way, where you can just tuck a little piece of paper into something. Shoot, you can even tuck it into your bra, your sock, whatever you want to do. But writing the word yes. We all have our affirmations, what have you, for the week ahead. Some people take it from hour to hour, some people take it day to day, some people take it by the week. However it is, coming up on this amazing new moon in Aquarius, things are gonna start picking up speed regardless of this retrograde. And it's funny because retrograde is in Aquarius, we're in the age of Aquarius, new moon is in Aquarius. And speaking as a triple Aquarius, I have a little bit of authority on this. I can tell you to expect the unexpected and to expect that the best is yet to come. That's the message I'm getting coming through. So, as is, the first card to me, the ancestors are saying, is representing body. Okay, so body, listening to your body. If your body is telling you that you need more rest, tell it yes. If your body's telling you need to take a bath, tell it yes. If your body's telling you need more sunshine, you need more moonlight, yes. Working in harmony with your body is very important right now, especially because Aquarian energy tends to lift us above and beyond our body. And, being in the 3D, we got to do things like taking care of family members, taking care of ourselves, driving cars, you really want to be in your body for those things for the most part. So, once you're done with that, you're at the end of the day, then you can float off on the Aquarian Express, no problem. But, you can always The quickest way to ground is literally just take your shoes off, put your feet on the earth, sitting with the earth. Crystals can really help with that. Hematite is a good stone. Uh, Even just sitting next to a tree if you need to ground. Nothing is more grounded than a tree. So, just saying yes to what your body needs in the moment. A friend of mine who's a monk and I were talking about this the other day, that food, different cycles the moon is in, different astrological things going on. Some days you'll feel like you need more food, some days you'll feel like you need less food. You can hear the crows outside. Crows are talking about transformation and discernment. Thank you, guys. um, you can look at the chakra. I know there's chakra charts online that tell you foods that you crave to balance out certain chakras, and adjust that if you're vegan or paleo or what have you. Um, for me, the best diet to follow tends to be your ancestral diet, because that's what brought your ancestors not only the physical sustenance they needed, but the spiritual sustenance. So, just again, you adjust it how you feel right in your heart in the moment. So the body is yes, saying yes to the body, what your body needs. Especially when you're going through challenging times like what we're dealing with right now, having to make adjustments on the political front, all that jazz. you know, um, Try not to extend or even think too far down the road. I just tell my students, highlight that Om in moment. And, I'll talk about that more in my memoir that's coming out. But highlight the Om, take it from moment to moment, miracle to miracle, however you want to say that. If you need your ancestors, put your left hand on your heart. They're literally a heartbeat within reach, 24/7. So it's beautiful that we have Fox card coming in as mind, because, sometimes foxes can be kind of, I don't want to say duplicitous, but they're survivors. And there's times where I pull this Fox card doing a reading for someone else, and I hear like conniving, cunning, that kind of thing. And this time, it's interesting because I'm going to be doing what's called Twin Flame Tuesdays every Tuesday, because quite a few of my students are blessed to be on this Twin Flame journey. I myself am a divine feminine with a phenomenal Twin Flame journey. My twin and I were both recognized by the same Venerable High Lama in Tibet, and it's just been a sacred journey all the way through. But this fox, what's highlighting for me right now is not only the 25. So 25 talks about movement and challenge. You can shift that to a 7, which represents 7 generations, 7 bands in the rainbow, the 7 sisters, which are also called the Pleiades. So, if you resonate with Pleiadian frequencies, you can start working with that. Pleiadian energy has to do with the Merkaba, so you may find that that is popping up too, which is interesting because the Merkaba is basically a 4 and 5 dimensional Star of David, as above, so below, as within, so without. But what I'm seeing with this is also Celtic energy, because the word fox, if you know anything about Celtic runes, F is Anzus, which is communication. O can represent, somebody just said orgasmic, or organic. And then the X is a Celtic rune called Gibo, which is partnership. So my feeling, I'm going to expand on this tomorrow with our twin flame stuff, as my counter just said, my twin flame's birthday. Thank you, ancestors. My feeling is that some people's twin flames, there's a lot of telepathic communication going on right now. And they're getting ready to communicate in a very ecstatic, organic, orgasmic way that's bringing in union. So if you're feeling that in your mind, first of all, mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. So, people are trying to throw their monkey wrench in your dreams or what have you. you know um Put that on a piece of paper, stick that in your medicine bag. Mind over matter. Um, so I just feel like, the fox and the alligator. So, the communication, the partnership, and then alligator is laying low and being observant, observe it, don't absorb it. So there's your 5. And it feels like this communication is going to be coming in by Friday. So, you guys, namaste, optimistic, 25 doubled is 50. So that's quite a leap, and alligator has to do with allies. If you look at the word, there's also gate. It's funny because we're looking at moving to Oregon, and OR is in there also. So if Oregon resonates for you guys, or if you're in Oregon, maybe our neighbor is coming up soon, which would be wonderful. But again, the fox, there's a tenderness in its eyes. If you look, there's a softening, there's a tenderness, there's a cleverness, there's a cunning, but it's not, again, it's not duplicitous. It's necessary. So, maybe you're dealing with situations where, your compliments having to keep their karmic on a leash or something like that, or trying to. But, the bottom line is the sacred protects the sacred. And when you start talking about sacred connections, and I'm talking about divine connections, I'm not talking about, man's ideas of pieces of paper and all that jazz. I'm talking about sacred connections that were divinely orchestrated before you even came into this world, that are divinely protected, that you're going to continue to be divinely guided to reconnect for the highest good of Mother Earth and all her children. Those are the connections I'm talking about. So, sometimes we get in these patterns. I know I do it with my compliment too, where, you feel like, oh, they're just being stubborn, or, if they would just do this and just do that, sometimes your compliments are going through dark night of the soul. And if you've already, brought yourself out of that, show them a little compassion, because you know what it took to bring yourself out. And that's the same thing going to take for them. You can't do the work for them, but you can light a candle. You can send some light. Just to support their ancestors and helping them to get above and beyond the shiz and fizz, so that y'all can connect, reconnect, do the work that you're here to do, while you're still able to do it, and anybody that has a problem with that can go smudge themselves. So, get ready this week. There's going to be some ecstatic communications coming in. And I'm laughing that, I'm saying get ready, because, these things tend to come in before we think we're ready, because the ancestors know we're ready. And as long as they know we're ready in the know, everything is just going to flow, and we're going to be good to come and or go. So, namaste, optimistic. If this helped, like, share, subscribe. The more the merrier. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. The minute you clicked on this channel, congratulations, you're now part of our Ohana, our Tios Baye, our extended family. So whatever I can do to help you piece the rest and best together, my website is, my link to my website is on the About Me page of this channel. Feel free to look at my website and see my story and references and all that jazz. And, if you want to book a private session with me, I can do that as well. So I am sending out prayers for you and yours, and looking forward to connecting with you guys very soon. All right, take care. We'll talk with you soon.